Hi guys, so today what we're going to show you is we're actually going to walk through some techniques that we learned on how to cure dark colors. So we know that when you're using the gel method, there's a lot of people with concerns on the dark colors not curing. And so there's some techniques that we can show you. We've had some in our group, and then we are going to walk you through something that we learned that we think will help you along the way so you can have any color you want even with the gel method, okay? So I'm quickly going to show you what we're going to do. So this is Elsa. She's going to do the gradient with the white going into the darks. So today we're going to end up using two dark. We're going to use our Halloween Night. And that's pretty much a solid, rich black. We know that there's lots of concerns on how you cure that. So we'll show you. And then we are going to use a little bit darker, a black as well, but it's going to be just a little bit lighter for that gradient look. And this is an eye gel color that we're going to use today. And then what we did with the nails, because we're just going to show you how to do the tips of the dark, is we use the pill base, we built the nail with the builder gel. Then we use the pill base, that's that shine that you can see on that nail. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and grab our base coat and our top coat, and we're going to get started with that. But first, I'm going to use a little bit of a primer. Now, it's not probably super necessary on the pill base, but we're going to go ahead and use just a little bit of the primer to get started. So just a tiny bit. And then with the primer, a lot of times there's questions of whether or not you need it. If you know your nails have a hard time adhering, I would definitely suggest. We are going to be getting some primer and some primer bond on the website just because we are dealing with gel, so we know a decent amount of people actually might benefit from it. So, and my sister actually, some people can benefit. I know she can as well. So we're going to go ahead and get that for you guys on the website. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the base coat. Then from there, we're going to get some sort of fluffy makeup brush. So I like this one. I also have this one as well that I bought. Just a simple makeup brush, but I'm going to go ahead and use this one. That seems to be my go-to for everything. And the first thing we're going to do is going to apply the base coat, wipe everything off. You can do the full nail with your base coat. Once we get the full nail completed, make sure you cap the edges because we did use the pill base. So if you don't cap the edges or go all the way down to the cuticle, it can pop off sooner. So what she did with the pill base is left a little bit on the side. When you cap that tip, it'll help keep that nice and snug so it doesn't pop off too soon. So from here, I'm actually going to have her go on the light for 60 seconds and come back. All right, so we took it out of the light for 60 seconds. And once you have a base coat on, it has a sticky layer on top. So what we're going to do with it is we are going to then tap the color on top of the sticky layer. Because the reason that the dark colors won't cure is because the light is having a hard time penetrating. So if you tap the color on really lightly, on top of it, barely have the base coat, the light will be able to penetrate that and we'll be able to cure it. Okay, so put that in the light for 30 seconds, not 60. All right, so we only put it in there for 30 seconds. Now, part of the issue, like I explained, that why it can't cure is because it needs to be able to penetrate. So we just barely dusted a top coat on. Now we're going to gently, I have a little fan here, so we're just gently going to wipe off. It was only for 30 seconds, and then we're going to gently wipe that off. So a lot of times why people cannot cure dark colors is that either they're drowning the product and then drowning the color on, and then when you put it in the light when it's dark, it can't penetrate, so it's not going to cure. And you get used to that, especially if you go from dip liquids, because you can go ahead and just drown it, dip it, no problem, no matter how much product you're using. With the gels and only dark colors, that can be a concern. So as you can see how it cured perfectly already. This isn't even the darkest, but we're going to get to the darkest as well. So what we're going to do is do a second round on top of this with the base coat. Okay, this one we're going to make sure we go all the way up to the cuticles. Get around those sides, especially with the dark color. You want to make sure you get real close to those sides. Make sure you're not drowning the product. That's a really easy thing to do, more than you think. It can be like, nope, I'm not drowning, but it's very easy to drown the product, and you want to be really careful. Maybe not with all the colors, but if you're having any trouble with any darker colors, even dark pinks or any of that, that would be my first thing. So from there, I'm just going to go ahead and wipe off the sides, because when I tap the color on, I don't want any issues. And then the second time, you can go ahead, and this time I would recommend either using a scoop or your dip tray. But I'm going to do this because I don't want to drown the powder on there like maybe I would do a couple times. I just want to come in and get a nice thin layer of color, okay? Right on those sides, nice thin layer. And even when I went around the second time, I barely was just trying to get the sides. I wasn't trying to layer and layer the product on, okay? So from here, we're gonna put it in the light for 60 seconds. All right, so we're done with our coats. We're gonna just gently dust off, okay? And because it's a dark color, and it should be fine, but one of my recommendations, and I don't typically would use a softer file. You can see our nails pretty anyways. You don't need to really do a ton file. But from here, I'm just gonna go right into the sides, re-clean that up, clean up any shaping that's needed. I can see there's a little shape up from the dark color, okay? You're gonna go to the other side, clean up any shaping. And then the top part, I'm actually going to use with the dark color. I am going to use a little bit of a soft, it's a little bit softer grit buffer file. So it's more of a file, but it's very soft grit. So because it's a dark color, I'm just gonna gently, this is what I'm gonna use to do any imperfections that you might have with one of those darker colors. Good news is when you do the gel method, it's pretty much going to look perfect, and we don't want to over file. So I'm really just gently going in. Okay. And after I'm done with that, even now I can already see I'm done. I don't need to go into more filing at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you, go right to the base coat, and we're going to go right to the top coat, and this finger will be completed. So because I've been very careful with the product, because I don't want to drown it, I can tell I've been a little lighter, which is good. It means I was doing my practice. And then of course we want to get that tip like I explained. The reason I'm saying that with the product is because when I'm doing the color application, you don't want to have a lot of product. So the fact that I could see I needed more was perfect, because it's, like I said, much easier than you think. Okay, so from there, she's going to go right in the light for 60 seconds. All right, so we took it out, and now we're going to do the top coat to show you. And I can already see this nail turned out really pretty. Just always making sure with those dark colors you get those sides, because otherwise you can see little bubbles. This is really pretty. It's got a nice little sparkle to it. Okay, put that in the light for 60 seconds. Okay, so we showed you one dark color. I want you guys to see it turned out perfect, perfectly hard, super pretty. So I'm gonna walk through the steps again, because it's a little bit different to be able to get this done. So your first things first, you are simply going to apply the base coat resin on top of your nail. Make sure you really get those sides so that when we put the darker black, it will work. Really get in those sides, okay? From there, I see that I got some on her skin. I want to get it off because I don't want to create any mess. From there, we're going to stick it in the light for 60 seconds. All right, so remember, we applied the base coat. We cured it for 60 seconds. Now what we're gonna do, because this is a very, very dark color, we want the light to penetrate the color. So we're just going to get a brush and we're gently going to tap over the base coat. Just gently, so that it's still very opaque and see-through. Okay, so from there, you can see that it's real thin and opaque. I'm gonna tap it off. See, take a look at that. And we're gonna stick it in the light for 30 seconds to re-cure what we've tapped on there. All right, so we are done with that. We cured it. Now we're gonna brush off any loose color, okay? So she wants to do 3 coats. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing again. Now remember, when you're doing a dark color like black, after I apply, I usually wipe off on the napkin because I don't want to get in, I don't want to contaminate my colors. But from here, we're gonna go right into the base coat. And remember, we need a real thin application. We don't want it really thick, because we need the light to get through and penetrate the colors. All it is when you do gel is just a different type of resin that cures the acrylic. Okay, so we're gonna put this in the light just like this before I tap on another color for 60 seconds. All right, so we did it again, the light for 60 seconds. Now we're going to tap the color on again on top of the base coat, okay? Then from there, the third time I'm gonna do a full application, but right now I'm just tapping the color on the base coat where it's that sticky layer. Now she's gonna put it in the light for 30 seconds just to re-cure that last little bit, okay? Okay, so we're all done. That's our second time. We're gonna come through, and I can already see, guys, I didn't even do long time. Usually I can go longer for the cure. It is already completely cured through. I can see it. So just all we're doing is doing such thin layers that the light has been able to get through. I know I said that like 500 times, but that's what I just want you guys to understand, because this is just a little bit of a different technique. And we're actually gonna do one more coat because she decided to do 3, even though it's pretty black at this point. We're gonna do one more. So from here, my last layer, I'm going real thin, so it's been a little harder to spread on the black, but that's okay. I don't wanna have too much because then it'll be easier to cure, okay? The one thing I wanna do the second time is I like to wipe my brush in between so that I don't get any black contaminated in the liquids. So you probably didn't see that part. From here, we're gonna go real careful on those sides, because when you're dealing with black or any dark colors, it can show any imperfection. So we're just gonna gently go on the sides. Here, we're gonna go right into the last cure, nice thin coat. I'm just gonna tap the color on. Okay, now that was a lot more powder than I was hoping. So I'm just gonna go to the side, just a tiny bit there. Tap, tap, side there, tap, tap, perfect. So from here, I might gently brush off the side just a little bit to avoid any extra cleanup. And I'm gonna have her go on the light for 60 seconds. Okay, so from here, we're gonna just lightly dust anything off. Okay, and we can actually use some alcohol wipes at the end, but I can see again, it's completely cured all the way through. We're gonna use the soft buffer to just gently buff any imperfections out. Just gently. Okay, and then from there, I'm gonna shape the sides, clean up any shaping mishaps. Then from here, I'm gonna go right into a base coat and top coat, because it will be ready for that. But this is a way to file and buff the top without making a, and I mean, it's actually completely cured. There's no issues here. I can see. Okay, so we're gonna go nails done. right into a base coat. And I didn't show you guys this, I was going to, but I forgot. I was gonna grab an alcohol wipe and just clean the nail first to get any of that color off the skin, because then it'll be just very pretty with no color in the cuticle. But I forgot to grab the alcohol wipe. Okay, and the light for 60 seconds. Okay, all right, so from here, right in the top coat. And when we're done with this, we'll go right into the light for 60 seconds. Shouldn't take too long here. Like I said, I would have used the alcohol wipe because that would have cleaned everything up. We still can, it'll come right up when we're done anyways, but I usually like to try to do it first, just so that none of this accidentally cures it. Okay, and the light for 60 seconds. All right, guys, so there you go. There you have it. We have the radiant color, and you can see the two dark ones completely cured, nice and strong. Well, hopefully that was helpful, because we know curing dark colors can be difficult and can be a pain for some people, but as you can see, it can be done. Bye, guys.